Hello everybody, my name is Frostclaw and welcome back or welcome to my channel. It has been a long time, almost a year to the day. I believe we're about a week out from the last time I have streamed. Technically I uploaded one short, but that was just a stream highlight that kind of explained where I was feeling at the time that I posted it, but that was also like 230 or so days ago, 240 maybe. It's been a long time and a lot has changed. As you can see, I'm different. I shaved my head. I grew my beard back out. I'm in a completely different place again. I keep doing that. I'll explain all of that. Don't mind the half-finished piece of furniture behind me. I'm working on it. I'm just a big procrastinator. I've got a lot to talk about. And I don't exactly know where I'm going to start or where I'm going to go with this. As always, I'm just doing this cold open and honest conversation where it's me conversing with the camera and hoping that there's someone there watching. And if you are, I really appreciate you because I I understand that like a lot of the time people view YouTube viewers as a number because that's all the platform really incentivizes you to think of people as. And I mean, when you're dealing in the millions of people that are on YouTube, billions of people that are on YouTube, it's hard to like humanize every single one of those numbers. Um, but I genuinely recognize that everyone out there is a person like me with, a family, a job, hobbies, interests, and the same 24 hours in the day. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here watching me. Having said that, this rambling intro has been so long, I've probably lost 90% of the people I'm thinking, but that's okay. That's okay. It's your 24 hours to do whatever you want with. As I said, I've got a lot to talk about, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to start. It's gonna be a little rambly. I might pause every so often. I apologize if I and a lot. My college English professor would click her buzzer at me constantly for how much I'm gonna be and umming. But as always, train of thought. That's how I do these videos. I've never scripted anything, and I was gonna say I never will, but maybe I probably should, especially with some of the things I want to do in the future. If you have been here before, you're probably familiar with how my channel goes, more or less. I, a quick recap of who I am and what the hell I've done. I don't know why I dropped the HE double hockey sticks right there, but hey, lingo. I originally technically started YouTube back in 2017, which was almost 10 years ago now, which is bonkers to think about. I started on a little all plastic glossy red Acer laptop with a crappy i5 and integrated graphics. And I recorded at 1366 by 768 resolution. And I recorded a few playthroughs actually. And then I used my brother's gaming laptop because he was going into game development in college to do any more demanding games. And then I unfortunately, in like 2021-ish, 2020, 2021, I I was an adult, I was mature, and I was embarrassed by all those silly videos that younger me made, and I deleted them all, and I've regretted it ever since because I would love to have that backlog, that archive of my videos that I unfortunately deleted. I would have loved to see how far I've come and how I've changed. But regardless, I came back to YouTube in about 2021. In 2021, I don't know why I said about. July 1st, 21st, July 21st, 2021. That's what I call my unofficial channel birthday because that's when I like started taking it semi-seriously. That didn't last for very long though, but I tried. I recorded videos. See, I'm doing the uhs. I told you I'd do that. I blah, 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 blah. What is wrong with me? I recorded gaming videos, and sometimes I was really consistent with it, and sometimes I would go offline for a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year. Just completely silent. And then I'd come back in a completely new location and cycle repeats. And then I started streaming, and I did that semi-consistently for a while. And then I did the same thing. I dropped off the face of the earth for a year, and now I'm back in another completely different place. So you guys are getting to see all these different phases of me in my life without getting to see the transition periods. Must be weird. Then again, I doubt anyone who's been here since the beginning is still here. But if you are, I appreciate you a lot. That's super cool. So here we are. It is, as of recording this, June 17th, 2026 at, I think exactly, oh yeah, exactly 5 p.m. Look at that. Hopefully I'll get this up today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Probably tomorrow. So we're almost a year to the day since I've last streamed. And I have a lot I want to talk about. I have a lot on my mind. I want to talk about where I've been and what I've been doing and why I'm back and what I plan to do now. Where do I start? I think this is going to be a little incoherent. It's going to be a little all over the place. If I could package it all up under one title, I think I would call it Disillusionment. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Okay. I've worked a lot of jobs. I've worked retail, I've worked dining, I've worked fast food. Technically, I was self-employed for a while, but I only sold a couple of products, so I don't really count that. But I do have a trademarked, copyrighted company, which I am a sole proprietorship of. I think my license has expired, but I could renew it for a small fee. But there's no point. Just to be clear, I built and sold computers for a little while. Technically, my company was active for a year, but I only ever sold 2 products because I made it in like March of 2020. And everyone knows what that means. Yep. If you were alive, you know what that means. But for computers specifically, the GPU market completely fell off the face of the earth, and my business never got off the ground. But that's okay. It was an interesting and learning experience, and at the end of the day, I'm glad I did it, even though I didn't ever get anywhere with it. As any of you who've been watching for a while know, I was a Starbucks barista for the longest period of time, about 4 years. I've also worked at Safeway. I've worked at multiple small and startup local cafes. I've worked Red Robin. And I just keep job hopping because either corporations and managers are just so evil and despicable that I can't take it, or that they boot me because they want to save a buck so that they get some quarterly bonus, or because they're being boycotted for measures outside my control because they did something crappy, or I quit because I just can't take it. I think I might have said that first, but I don't remember. I worked at Safeway first. That was my first job. And I've heard from people, I don't know if any of this is true. This is word of mouth. I could be getting the details completely wrong. If you were there at the time, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I've heard from people who worked for Safeway back in the 80s and 90s that it was actually a really great place to work. I think this was before the Albertsons, is it Albertson, I think, that bought Safeway in the early 2000s. This was before that acquisition. Safeway was supposedly renowned for their union. They had a huge union. All of the workers could unionize. It was like a big deal, and they treated their workers really well, and it was a great place to work. When I worked there in 2020, it was terrible. It was absolutely awful. It did not last very long. The union is now union. I don't know how the hell they're allowed to call it that. It is now a part of the business. It's just glorified HR. They don't give a crap about you. They exist to protect the company. It's not a union at all, but it is mandatory, and it costs $40 a month. $40 a month. That's the most expensive subscription I've ever heard of. Well, no, that's not true. There are $100 a month subscriptions, but most expensive one I'd ever been a part of. And it's just HR, not not even union. We had no benefits from them. It was terrible. I quit because my front manager tried to work me 6 hours straight with zero breaks, not even a 10-minute break. And when I told her to her face that that was illegal, she said that I had to do it because she was telling me to, and I quit the next day. Yay me. Sticking it to the man and losing my job and going broke. And that's how the system gets you. But then I worked for Starbucks for 4 years, as you all know, because I was working for them while I was recording and streaming. And then Starbucks was getting massive boycotts for supporting Israel in their genocide and ethnic cleansing of the Gazan people in Palestine and the West Bank. Oh my God, I can't believe that slipped my mind. I've got a lot on my mind. For some reason, Starbucks was supporting that, which is baffling to me. Whichever side of the conflict you're on, that feels weird to say. It's not a conflict, it's genocide. But whichever side you're on, a coffee company based in Seattle, Washington should not be supporting anything in regards to foreign militaries. So that was weird. And they were getting huge boycotts for it, as they should. And I was also boycotting from them. I mean, I got paid to work there, and I took a lot of drinks for free. So you could say I was doing even better than the people boycotting them. No, let's ignore me. Well, don't ignore me. Well, do if you want to. Do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. What am I talking about? But anyway, they were getting huge boycotts, and they were really looking for any reason at all, any reason they could to fire as many people as they could to save a buck because they're a publicly traded company and publicly traded companies are legally required to make money for their shareholders. And making money doesn't just mean making money, it means making more money. Like, I don't know if it's quarterly or yearly profit increases. I think it's quarterly, like year over year. So quarter one has to be better than quarter one last year. And if they don't, the board or investors or whatever can literally sue the company and the CEO for not making them more money. It's egregious. That's America for you. So they were trimming wherever they could. My store manager, she was a great woman named Lisa. She refused to cut hours and cut workers because we were a great team of good people that needed the money. And she got written up half a dozen times at least. I know she got written up twice in a week once by her regional manager, a woman named Stephanie. And then eventually there was one day where on the clock we were open, we were working, she was in the back, she was on a Zoom meeting with her regional manager. Zoom meeting ended, she shut the laptop, took off her apron, folded it, put it down, said, "I quit." I walked out. Which, first of all, icon, slay queen, wow. I know that Starbucks is some multi-billion dollar megacorp that doesn't give a crap, but hell yeah. We need more people like that with morals and ethics. Anyway, the dude they replaced her with, some guy named Chris, was just a corporate bootlicker that did whatever they wanted. He had never been a barista or a shift lead or a manager for Starbucks before. They hired him, trained him to be a manager just so that he could take over that store and do whatever they said without asking questions. And that's what he did. And I was fired for being 1 minute late on 2 occasions. Which, if your immediate thought is, well, that seems kind of stupid. Isn't there like a 5 minute grace period? Technically, yes and no. The 5 minute grace period is the standard in the industry. It is not required by law or anything. So most people have a 5 minute grace period, but it's not required. And they were just looking for any reason, like the tiniest misstep, to fire as many people as they could. And I clocked in 1 minute late on 2 occasions and they fired me. And I remember Chris was there with another branch's manager named Debbie, and they handed me the form saying that they needed me to sign it just to acknowledge not to admit any fault, just to acknowledge that I had received my notice that I was terminated. And they had a big box at the bottom where it was like, you can leave a comment here. And I just signed and put the pen down. And Chris was like, you can leave a comment there if you want. And I was like, and I said to him, what's the point? What is the point? I know I'm a great barista. I know that the customers love me. Our regulars love me. My team loves me. I know that I cover people's call outs and I work extra hours if I have to. What's the point? I'm nobody. I'm a number. I can leave a comment and no one's even going to read it. And he didn't say anything, of course. They didn't even let me finish out my schedule. I was terminated on the spot and I was without a job and without an income. As a matter of fact, they actually paid me late because it is California Labor Code. I don't remember, but it's California labor law that they have to pay you the day that they terminate you. And if they don't, they have to pay you for an extra day's wage for every day that they delayed. They paid me, instead of on the day they terminated me, they paid me on the regular payroll day, which was like, not even that much. It was like 3 days, which was not much money. It was like $270 pay that they owed me in late fees. I filed a report with the California Labor Attorney's Office, Labor something. I don't remember. I reported it. It took like 2 years. No, that's an exaggeration. It took a long time, like a year, for that report to go through and be filed. And then Starbucks was actually ordered like almost a month ago, 24th or 25th of last month, to pay me, or they would start accruing interest on that late pay fines. And the interest can accrue for up to 30 days max. So at the 30-day mark, which is in like a week, if they still haven't paid me, I should probably sue them because I mean, obviously the pay is not going to accrue anymore, and that's not fair. And this is a pretty slam dunk case. It's pretty standard procedure. You get an attorney who gets his pay from, like I would sue Starbucks for both my legal fees and for damages. And usually damages pay out a lot more than late pay fees. So, hey, if they don't pay me by 30 days, maybe I get a nice fat paycheck. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, it's probably going to take another 6 months in court. So, whatever. Anyway, I got so off track. Oh my God. Uh, I was fired from Starbucks. I worked at a um, small local coffee shop in downtown city next to where I lived. And I really liked it. It was really cute, very small, much lower volume than Starbucks. So it was easy for me. I learned a lot more about coffee making, about being a barista than I ever did at Starbucks. Because at Starbucks, they have a machine where you push a button and it makes everything for you. And the steamer, it's awful. Okay, I don't really have a better way to put it. There's no articulation to it. There's no control over it. But I was taught how to use a La Marzocco, and I learned a lot more about coffee making and steaming and frothing. I was actually taught by a multi-time latte artist grandmaster. Super cool stuff. And I loved that job. And then some new owners acquired the business, and they were so two-faced. They were so sweet, so friendly. They'd give us hugs and talk about how much they appreciated us. They asked me to work their ribbon cutting ceremony, me and the manager. That was it, just me and the manager. So like I was literally second to the manager, and I was like, yeah, of course. And I worked the ribbon cutting ceremony, and then they asked me to pick up a shift the next day because someone had called out sick, and I said, yeah, of course. And I picked up that shift the next day and worked it. And then the next morning, they sent me a copy paste email, generic, you're not a good fit for this company, we're sorry to let you go, we hope for the best for you email. Like literally they just copy pasted a template and changed the name out, and they sent it to everyone. They fired everyone in the staff except for the manager and hired an entire new staff of their picks. So that's really cool. some there's some isms there, but I'm not gonna get into that. So there I am, unemployed again, and this time uh, I worked for a startup in downtown city on the other side of me. I was hired under the assumption that I was essentially going to be the opening shift lead, that I was the morning manager, and then that didn't happen. Apparently, this startup had like two previous startup attempts, and it just wasn't working out. So they hired some like external or third party business like advisor, I suppose, and she was restructuring the business, but she was literally only there for like 3 weeks and then they fired her. But she hired the whole new staff, myself included, and the place seemed really cool for a while, but it was very disorganized. And our manager, who was an amazing guy, still friends with him actually, he got demoted for no reason. They just wanted to save a dollar. And he quit because he was like, I'm not going to do manager work for barista pay. I know what I'm worth. And go off, King. I agree. So he quit. And then our baker, who was awesome and is doing really awesomely now, and I'm so happy for him. He's doing his own thing. He's got his own baking pop-ups everywhere, and he collaborates with local businesses. He quit because of horrible treatment, and I became aware that the owner of this small business is actually facing 3 lawsuits to public in the Superior Court of California, which I read up all about them, and I don't know why I expected more from a middle-aged white woman who is a multimillionaire, owns 2 houses in California, one in Texas, has a personal horse trainer for her daughter, runs 5 businesses out of 3 buildings. One of them is a nonprofit. I think 2 of them technically are nonprofits. I don't know why I expected more. I thought she was like a big proponent for the arts and just didn't know what she was doing. Nah, she kind of evil. Kind of super evil and screwed a lot of people over. And so I quit out of principle. Principle. I don't know why I choked up there. Yeah. Totally forgot about Red Robin. There's been other work I've done that it slips my mind. I've just I'm almost 25 years old. Birthday's July 8th, as is known by anyone who's been on my channel for a while. And I've worked more jobs than a 24-year-old should have, I think. I feel like there should be a limit on how many jobs you can work in a year before you just get to go the rest of the year being paid for trying your best. um, so here we are now. Wow, that was a lot of rambling and ranting. What are we at? 23 minutes. Holy, absolutely no one is watching this far. No one is still here. I'm talking to myself at this point, I'm sure. So here we are. And for, I think, the third or fourth different setup I've got now. I think the fourth since I started recording. Where do we go from here? I said earlier that if I could package this up in one title, it would be Disillusionment, because that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of everything. Not physically tired, just mentally and emotionally exhausted. And I know that I have to get another paying job, but Pete's Coffee, 20 minutes away from me, is hiring a shift lead. I should probably apply to that. I've got some manager experience under my belt now. I applied to Trader Joe's, might as well apply to Costco. They're supposed to be great to work for. It's just, I'm so tired. Like, what is the point of all this? I work and I work and I work for what? I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting anything out of it. I get minimum wage and I'm able to like buy some niceties like my computer. And the lumber for this thing I never finished building. I should probably explain what this is. Yeah, we'll save that for a bit. I've already gotten off track so many times. I just need to wrap this up. Point is, I'm exhausted and very disillusioned. And to add on top of all of this, what a time to be alive. What a time to be an American citizen, am I right? It's been a year so far, and we're only halfway through it. So here's where I'm at. I should probably tell everyone to skip to this part of the video if they want to miss the sort of skip the rambling of me just talking about all the jobs I worked for some reason. I mean, more than anything, I've always treated this channel like my own personal diary. I play games on it for fun. I don't expect an audience. I yap for my own benefit without any expectation for an audience. So honestly, I'm probably not going to put anything on screen saying, skip to this part if you want to skip my rambling, because this is just my own personal feelings and thoughts. But to get back to the point, I've always been a very technical person. I've always been a very technically inclined person. I've always loved technology, electronics, personal computers, desktop computers especially, but on top of just building my own PCs instead of buying them. I mean, at this point I've built or helped build, I think, 20 personal computers for people, desktops for people, friends and family of friends. And the reason I do that is because I want them to have a good computer at a good price that's not going to cut any corners, not going to have any silly design decisions, a well-balanced computer. I don't encourage people, well, that's not entirely true. I do encourage people to buy pre-built if they don't have someone knowledgeable to help them build it. But when I'm close enough to do it myself, I always help people build instead of buying pre-built because they save a lot of money and get a better computer. And that is literally the tip of the iceberg at this point. Oh, I should reveal this now. I'm on Linux. I'm recording this on Linux right now. This is recording on OBS in Fedora 44 KDE Desktop Edition. Bet you didn't see that coming, huh? I've been on Linux for a while now, actually, and I love it. I'm never going back to Windows, ever, I don't think. Unless some insane thing happens somewhere down the line and Linux falls apart, which it can't. It's open source. The community drives it. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever going back to Windows or Mac. I actually sold my MacBook. I'm on Linux and I love it, and I am gonna stay here. I've tried out 3 different distros. I loved all of them, but Fedora is where I settled because I like to just use base Fedora and customize everything myself. I used Bazite, which is a fantastic which is a fantastic distro, and I think is a great starting point for beginners. It's an immutable desktop. It's the atomic version of Fedora, which means you cannot edit the core functionalities of the operating system. And if you break something, essentially you just restart the computer and it fixes itself like SteamOS, which is great, but not for me because I'm a tinkerer and I do advanced things with video editing and encoding and recording and streaming, obviously. So I switched to Nobara for a time. I like Nobara a lot. It's by Glorious Eggroll, the creator of Proton GE, which is what I use. Uh, I hated that Nobara had its own repositories and like app library is how I'll put it. So I ended up switching to Fedora and just doing everything myself because I didn't like how scattered things got on Nobara the more I used it. And I've been loving it. I absolutely love Fedora. I love Linux. I've installed Fedora on several other family members' PCs. I've got Fedora on our home theater PC. I've got it on my, yeah, and then I've got Linux on my NAS. I've got Debian on a friend's PC because Windows completely crapped out and I tried for multiple days to fix it. before we gave up and I just put Debian stable on her computer. I love Linux, and I'm never going back. And that is also just the tip of the iceberg. I have become a bit of a privacy and security advocate. And it is insane that it took me 30 minutes to get to the point of this video, because this is kind of the actual point of this video. This is where we're at now and where I'm going to be continuing in the future. I'm a big proponent of privacy and security. I have been switching over everything I use from all mega corporations to free and open source softwares and alternatives. I do not have any subscription services at all, and it is so nice. The grass is way greener over here. But I'm also working on trying to spread this message as best as I can, and not just tell people to do it, but I'm actually going to be helping. So streams are going to be starting back up soon. Just because I missed them and I really want to do it. I'm going to start streaming video games again, which I'm really excited about. And then I'm also going to start making videos about switching away from mega corporations' proprietary software to free and open source community run softwares that value your privacy and security. Things like Signal, which I have switched over my texts, my Discord, my I didn't really use WhatsApp. I only used it for one job, but WhatsApp, everything, Instagram messages, Facebook Messenger, Google Chat, everything has all been gotten rid of, and I just use Signal now. Signal is a 100% free, 100% open source, end-to-end encrypted chatting software. It supports group text, it supports calls, and group calls, and it is end-to-end encrypted, which means absolutely no one can read your messages except for you and your recipients, just the two of you. Signal does not have any cloud services. They don't have any servers. Literally everything is stored on device. If I send a picture to you, you get that picture, and I have that picture, and no one else does. There is no server it's uploaded to. There's no cloud it's on. Just you and I have it. It is 100% secure and private. It's amazing, and I love it. To replace Discord, I use Stoat, because Signal is not the best for group calls, especially for like gamers. So I use Stoat. I've switched most of my family to Stoat now. Stoat's mobile apps are in early access, and they pretty much don't work on Apple, but since we don't use it as like a family group chat, we use Signal for that. Stoat has worked very well as just a replacement for Discord voice calls, just for when we're gaming together, and that's what I use it for, and it's fantastic. Honestly, their open source noise cancellation software, not software, feature works way better than Discord's. It's wild. My brother, who knows absolutely nothing about tech, well, he used to know absolutely nothing about tech. Now he's on Linux and doing stuff himself, which is awesome. He knows nothing about audio. He has the least critical ear, and he was just blown away, gushing over how good Stoat's audio processing is, which is amazing. Yeah, all sorts of things like that. I use Linux, I use Stoat, I use Signal, I use Proton instead of the Google suite now, Proton Authenticator. Get a multi-factor authenticator. Do not use SMS. I've got a lisp all of a sudden. SMS two-factor authentication, it's terrible. SMS phishing is so easy, and like SMS two-factor authentication is so bad you might as well not have it. Use multi-factor authentication. The two biggest things you can do to protect yourself on the internet today, this applies to everything on the internet, everything, every account, is multi-factor authentication and a password manager. I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I don't have a password manager, but I'm just so paranoid about losing it and losing all my passwords. I know that's an irrational fear. I know. Everyone should be using it. I'm working on it. I'm probably going to locally host my own, because that'll help ease my paranoia. But multi-factor authentication, everyone should be using that. It is the best form of security on the internet. Proton Authenticator is 100% free and super secure, totally private, totally encrypted. Highly recommend. I use that. I use Proton Mail, so I don't use Google anymore. I have recently moved away from Google Search because of their new updates and all the AI agentic garbage they're using to just destroy the internet. So I primarily use DuckDuckGo. I don't like that it's using the Bing index because I don't like Microsoft any more than I like Google. But it's not really a good alternative. I would love to use Mojeek, which is a UK-based, 100% independent search engine that it's actually part of their legal policy that they cannot ever even have a tracker in the search engine. So, which is awesome. And it would be a great way to get away from big tech like Microsoft and Google. Unfortunately, its index is just way too small at this point. They don't have nearly enough of the internet index for it to be a very useful search engine. And the more people use it, the better it will get. So I do use it when I can, but most of the time I have to switch over to DuckDuckGo because it's just not good enough, which sucks. But we'll get there one day, slow and steady. I've convinced my entire family to move over to Signal, to move over to Stoat, to move over to um, DuckDuckGo. Most of them who moved over to Linux. I'm trying to spread it to my friends, but they hate change and adoption is hard for them. But I have decided I'm going to start spreading that message online too. So after what, 40 minutes, 36 minutes, here we are. No one is left watching. I feel like I've lost the plot and everyone lost interest and left, but this is what I do. I do cold opens, diary/journal style. Horrible retention because I just ramble and get off topic all the time, but I mean, that's the way I am. That's the way I've always been. And I would say that's the way I'll always be, but I am probably going to script some videos because I want to do things like teach people to install Signal and to replace Instagram and Google Chat and Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp and texting with Signal. The only reason I care about replacing texting with Signal is actually just because of Apple, because their adoption of RCS is so trash that it just makes texting between Android and Apple a nightmare, and Signal just works. Desktop, tablet, phone, it just works between every device. It's so nice. It's also more secure than even RCS, and just way better between Apple and Android devices because I consider it malicious compliance the way they adopted or implemented RCS chat. It's stupid. I hope the EU gets them for that, but oh well. And yeah, I want to help people download Fluxer and Stoat as alternatives to Discord. I tried Fluxer, but it was just way too buggy on at least Linux. No, my brother's on Windows and it was buggy for him too. It was just the voice chat was super buggy. Maybe that was just an us issue. I don't know. Could have been a DNS issue because I have our router set to Quad 9's encrypted ECS enabled DNS. So maybe Fluxer didn't like that. I don't know. But yeah. Um, Free and open source, encrypted, end-to-end encrypted. Swedish companies are really good for this. Stuff like Proton and Quad9, I believe are both Swedish. And I want to teach people how to secure themselves, secure their privacy, protect their identity and their information. The world is becoming very dystopian, much faster than I ever anticipated. And I know that's an overused word, but it's true, genuinely. The mass surveillance on a scale we could never have imagined. It's straight out of the God, what's the movie or TV series? I can't remember. The Minority Report. The Minority Report. Predictive policing is becoming a real thing with Palantir and with police using AI. It's bad. It's really bad, and it has never in human history been more important for us to secure our data and secure our identities and protect our privacy, protect important documents like our ID cards, license, driver's license, passports, all the stuff that we were once told to never, ever, ever share on the internet because that is extremely dangerous. We are now being ordered by governments and begged by corporations to hand it over, and it's nuts. And I think most people are just too exhausted to fight back, so everyone's just complying, and I can't deal with that. I can't deal with it. Someone has to do something. Something has to start somewhere. So here's where I'm starting. If you believe in any of this, if any of this matters to you, I highly, highly recommend Gamers Nexus. They used to just be a gaming news and hardware review YouTube channel, but now they're a full-blown investigative journalist channel, journalism channel. I highly, highly recommend following them, supporting them in any way you can. Yeah, I, I have not had any cohesion with this. I've just kept like switching topics and rambling nonstop, but I should really wrap this up. Maybe I'll stream tonight. I don't know. I might have plans. I haven't really figured it out. Maybe I'll stream tonight. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. We'll see, but I do plan on streaming again soon. This video should go up tomorrow morning, I think. That's the state of things. That's where I am in life and what I plan to do from now on. Gonna keep streaming video games, having fun, and then I'm gonna be posting tutorials and news and also just the occasional fun thing to talk about. I'm not a chisme, my as my Mexican friends would say. I don't really do gossip. I don't really do drama, but some stuff is fun to talk about. Like the one video I made on the Beast games, but that was really just like ripped from a live stream where we talked about it. So some stuff is fun to talk about, and I might post some of those occasionally if I'm interested enough. But for the most part, this is what I'm going to be focusing on now. Aside from gaming, it's going to be helping people use free and open source software. I actually have my own NAS up there on top of this thing. I've got my own network attached storage, which my entire family uses. I've set up Tailgate so that my family who lives outside of this house has a private like VPN tunnel to use it. It's not working right now. I'm figuring it out. It's a work in progress. I learn as I go. I've got a home server that I'm going to start hosting things on. I was trying to host a Matrix server as a replacement for Discord, but I need a public IP for that, and I don't have one. So I'm learning as I go, and I want to share that with everyone else because I think it's really important. And I would love to spread the message to the 1 or 2 people that are interested and care and come across my videos. And if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for listening. I am probably really annoying and tiresome, and I don't know why you stuck around this long, because I clearly suck at doing these cold open unscripted talking videos. This is like 40 minutes long, 43 minutes long. Wow, no one's watching this, but if you made it all this way, I love you. No, I don't. That's parasocial, but I appreciate you. And hopefully I'll see you on stream. Peace. That's the worst outro ever. Bye.